Okay, we're about to pick our Calamondin oranges. Okay, go ahead. Some of them haven't ripened completely on the tree, and others look like they are. You're going to take the whole branch, are you?
Well, some of them snap off. I don't want to damage the stem of the branch.
Looking good. We've waited about 4.5 years for this tree to produce all these oranges. Well, that's quite a harvest, I would say. That's pretty amazing. Thank you. So here we've taken all of our little Calamondin oranges and we've put a slit in them, squeezed the juice into the bowl, and then with the scissors, actually, we've cut them very thin strips and took out the seeds as we go. But apparently you don't need to take out the seeds because the seeds float to the surface when you go to the next step, which is going to be cooking them. Now along the way we had an extra bonus because on the other cutting board, let me show you, we have some seeds that are sprouting. So our goal is to try to grow these little guys and see if they'll grow into some more Calamondin trees, and perhaps one day in our house we'll have a whole orchard of Calamondin trees. So bear with us, we'll see what happens. Okay, so the next step is, once you've measured the fruit and we separated the juice, you want to add about 3/4 of a cup of water for each cup of fruit and juice. So we added about 1.5 cups water because we had 2 cups of juice. So we're averaging it out. All the recipes we've read average out about 3/4 of a cup of water. You want to bring it to a boil, and then when it's reached a boil, then you want to bring it down to half, a medium boil, and then you let it sit for 15 minutes. So I set our timer for 15 minutes about 1.5 minutes ago. So that's what we'll do, and then we're going to put it in the fridge. And then tomorrow we'll add the sugar and finish the process. As the mixture is cooking, you could get a spoon with holes in it like this, pickle spoon or whatever you have handy, just to fish the seeds out that do come floating up to the surface as it boils for the allotted time. Okay, we're almost at the end of our 15 minutes, and what I've found is, yeah, a few seeds come floating to the surface. So like someone said, you really don't have to de-seed them. They'll just come and you can scoop them out. I also found a few oranges that are were a bit thick because I cut them in half after, or I sliced the thin slices after I cut them in half, so you get a double thickness. So I just took my scissors and cut them right in the bowl. I just sliced them up. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but I'm using this figure 8 method of stirring, which seems to be pretty effective at keeping the foam away from the edges, and you can do what you want, but I find figure 8 works pretty good. Okay, so now it's cooled down, and you can see it's getting there. And we're just going to leave it in the same pan and put it in the bottom of the fridge, because then tomorrow we just don't have to get any more pans dirty. We'll just add the sugar to it and we're done. So here's our mixture, 5 cups of Calamondin oranges. They're pretty bitter. Other jams we've experimented and found you only needed to put a cup in, or 1 or 2 cups, but this recipe calls for a cup for each cup of mixture. So we put in 5 cups. So we'll see what happens, and we're going to bring it to a boil for how many minutes for this marmalade? it's going to cook for until the mixture reaches about 220 degrees on a candy thermometer. So let's do that. Okay, so we're getting this mixture to a boil, and remember, we do a figure 8 stir to keep stirring occasionally so you don't get any sugar settling and burning on the bottom, or you don't want to get a film on the top. And then we move over. We've already got our jars in there. They're on a rack, and they're boiling now, and they're supposed to boil for 10 minutes. And we're going to probably 5 minutes in put the seals, the lids, in there too, so they're boiling, and then we'll fish them out with some tongs. Now you notice that we've been using stainless steel all the way through this process. It's because aluminum, we believe, is toxic, and we want to keep everything pretty healthy. We filled up the jars. We're just cleaning the edges because you don't want to affect your seal. We're going to put the seals on and then the canning lids, and after a few minutes, 10-15 minutes, they will click and pull down, and they'll be sealed. A bunch of high fives. We finally finished this process, so we got it into some nice little appropriately sized Christmas gift containers, and you can see that our 5 cups of fruit and mixture with 5 cups of sugar went into 12 little bottles. So there you have it. Now all we got to do is label them, and it's going to be great. It's delicious, by the way, just delicious. Better than any marmalade I've ever had. You're hearing them start to pop now. It's kind of like waiting for your popcorn to pop. Some of the lids are arced, like that one on the top left, and some of them have already sunken down and sealed themselves. Then we'll screw on the lids really tight. Right now they're on loosely just to guide them, center them, and it's going to be good. Okay, so we're going to have our first raisin toast with Calamondin marmalade. Looking good.
That is good.
Fantastic. Worth waiting 4 years for. Definitely. I hope you can enjoy this soon. Buy a Calamondin orange tree. Dwarf orange. Okay?